So, now Lucy 2, how's your general knowledge? Scary?
Of the 9 people preparing for today's show, only one will take home the prize money of up to £10,000. The others will leave with nothing, after their teammates vote them the weakest link.
Welcome to the Weakest Link.
I'm Chris, 28 years old, from Birmingham, and I'm in advertising.
Top. Friends, in the nursery rhyme rub-a-dub-dub, how many men were in the tub?
3.
Correct. Chris, what key is the name of a person who operates puppets?
Puppeteer.
Correct. Chris, if there are 12 bottles of wine in a case and you need 36 bottles for a party, how many cases must you buy?
3.
Correct. Chris, which 19th century Danish author is famous for the fairy tales The Little Mermaid and The Ugly Duckling?
Hans Christian Andersen.
Correct. Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Oswald.
Brian.
Brian. Brian.
Chris, did your head feel the toes?
Yes?
Why have you voted for Brian?
I thought he might be weak overall on questions about pop music and similar pop culture issues.
Brian! Chris, in food, what is the main meat ingredient in moussaka?
Lamb.
Correct. Denotes a piece of music that can only be played by one performer.
Solo.
Correct. Chris, in the TV comedy Only Fools and Horses, which character had the nickname Del Boy?
Derek Trotter.
Correct. Chris, in politics, how many general election victories did John Major achieve as Prime Minister?
1.
Correct.
Marie.
Chris, what key is the name of the famous Italian fashion house founded in Milan in 1913?
Prada.
Correct. Inspector. Chris, singer Adam Rickett, who had a 1999 UK Top 10 hit single with I Breathe Again, was formerly an actor in which TV soap opera?
Coronation Street.
Correct. Which 1990s boy band became the first group since the Beatles to have 4 consecutive UK #1 singles? Correct. Right.
Chris answered all of his questions correctly, making him the strongest link. Sandra failed to answer any of her questions correctly, making her the weakest link.
Oswald.
Chris, you haven't answered a single question incorrectly yet.
Apparently so, yes.
What do you do?
I work in advertising.
Why do you come dressed as a New Age traveller?
Because in my spare time, evenings and weekends, I am a New Age traveller.
So you're a part-time New Age traveller?
Yeah.
You're not like traffic wardens? Is that why you voted for Oswald?
No, I voted for him just because I thought he got a couple of questions wrong in that round, and I think his confidence is starting to go. Head's dropping a bit.
You thought he was the weakest link, did you?
Yep.
Brent, Brian, the chartered surveyor, retired, but the good news is you've still got Sandra, who can't spell and who can't add up, and Chris, the part-time New Age traveller who has to put on a suit and go to work on a Monday morning. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link for the last round. That's Chris. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Chris, in Australia, which is further east, Brisbane or Melbourne?
Brisbane.
Chris, in history, in which century did Abraham Lincoln die?
The 19th.
Correct. Chris, which well-known German-born physicist heralded the development of quantum theory?
Einstein.
Chris, in geography, the village of Marathon is located in which European country?
Greece.
Correct.
Chris is the strongest link for the second time, and Sandra is once again the weakest link.
Sandra.
Fine. We start with the strongest link for the last round. That's Chris. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Chris, does the Jeffrey Museum in East London specialise in exhibiting toys, clothes or furniture?
Furniture.
Correct. Correct. Chris, in science, what invention of the 1950s contains thousands of tiny transistors on a piece of material smaller than a stamp?
Silicon chip.
A microchip, or except silicon chip. Snake. Chris, in athletics, with which event would you associate arch rivals Steve Backley and Jan Zalesny?
The javelin.
Correct. Chris, in rugby league, how many points does a drop goal worth?
1.
Correct.
is the strongest link for the third time in a row. Sean is the weakest link statistically for the second time.
Vicky.
Chris, you still haven't answered a question incorrectly.
Indeed.
What is it you do?
I work in advertising.
And you're also a freelance New Age traveller.
That's right, there's not much money.
And why have you voted for Vicky?
She got most, if not all of her questions wrong.
So you got two wrong.
Most of them wrong.
You're not so smart after all. So we'll start with the strongest links from the last round. That's Chris. Let's play. You need to think. Start the clock. So music. Schubert composed the song Death on the What in 1817.
Maiden.
Correct. Chris, in the animal kingdom, what is the name given to a group of dolphins?
School.
School or part correct.
Oh, damn it.
Sister. Chris, which one of the following is the name of the military aircraft? Tiger Cat or Wolf Cat?
Tiger Cat.
Correct. Chris, in history, Haile Selassie became emperor of which country in 1930?
Ethiopia.
Correct. Chris, in medicine, a phlebotomy is an incision into what vein?
Pass.
Vein.
In a row, Chris is the strongest link. Joe failed to answer any of her questions correctly, making her the...
Sean. Joe.
Speech. Well, I don't suppose there's much point asking you, Sean, why you voted for Joe.
That was same as the last time.
Chris, as the strongest link, you will have to cast the deciding vote. Have you voted for Joe because you don't like police officers as a part-time freelance New Age traveller?
I felt it was my duty, yes.
Okay. Well, you now have the opportunity to change your vote should you wish. You're going to get rid of Joe, the policewoman, or Sean, who's a technician in the oil industry,
I'm going to stick with my original choice.
because she's a policewoman.
I did also feel she was weaker in that round.
Okay. Joe, it may be because you're a policewoman you're being voted off. On the other hand, you didn't answer a single question correctly in that last round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. Again, that's Chris. Let's play. Who we think? Start the clock. Chris, in pop music, which Britpop group released the album Mosley Shoals in 1996?
Ocean Colour Scene.
Correct. Sean, in geography, the Khyber Pass connects Afghanistan to which other Asian country?
India.
Pakistan. Brent, in literature, the 1950 novel A Town Like Alice is set against the backdrop of which war?
Korea.
World War II. Chris, in sports, which American beat Arno Claymont to win the men's singles at the Australian Open Tennis Championship in January 2001?
Pete Sampras.
Andre Agassi. Sean, in which 1994 British film does John Hannah's character read the W.H. Auden poem Funeral Blues?
Finding the Road.
4 Weddings and a Funeral. Brent, in modern history, which Soviet leader published his first major work in 1914 called Marxism and the Nationality Question? Joseph
Lenin.
Stalin. Chris, in jazz, which instrument was big band leader Buddy Rich famous for playing?
The piano.
The drums. Sean, which type of music did pianist Jelly Roll Morton claim to have invented?
Blues.
Jazz. Brent, in literature, for what do the initials D.H. stand in D.H. Lawrence?
David Hubble.
David Herbert. Chris, which member of Boyzone married Yvonne Connolly in 1998?
Ronan Keating.
Correct. Sean, in history, what was the name of the tax abolished in 1640, raised by English monarchs in times of emergency to strengthen the navy?
Clearance tax.
Ship money. Brent, in which African country would you find the port of Mombasa?
Kenya.
Correct. Chris, in music, which Russian composer wrote Swan Lake and the Nutcracker Suite?
Tchaikovsky.
Correct. Sean, in January 2000, which former German chancellor resigned as honorary chairman of the Christian Democratic Union Party in the wake of a corruption scandal?
Helmut Kohl.
Correct. Chris,
Blank.
which Christmas accessory was invented by Tom Smith in the 1800s?
Crackers.
It was crackers that you passed first. Chris, the comic actor Dudley Moore. Weakest Link.
Chris is the strongest link for the 5th time in a row. The weakest link is Brent. But at this crucial stage of the game, who won't make it into the final?
So whenever it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Chris. Chris. Sean.
Chris, the beads in the headdress didn't help. You are the weakest link.